Hello Internet, my name is Exavo, and today I'm doing the Miss Pandaria analysis video for the Warrior. So, because Warrior is such a popular class on YouTube, you know, there's most of the big Warcraft channels are Warriors. So, I'm going to do a relatively brief video, and I'll leave a link to a channel where this guy has done really good analysis, in-depth guides, and theory crafting, I think he called it. So he's got really good videos, so I don't want to just rehash what you can find elsewhere. So yeah, this will just be really quick, so let's jump right into it. First tier. Actually, first I'm going to talk about the problem with Warriors in Cataclysm. In Cataclysm, I think the problem I think most people could agree that Warriors were the underdog in PvP, or, you know, out of the really popular specs or builds or classes, Warriors were the underdog, especially for like arenas. So I believe the reason for that is they relied too much on RNG, which is random number generated, like crits and stuff like that, parries. Most classes have lots of ways to control an engagement. They have like ranged slows, lots of stuns, that kind of stuff. Like rogues have stuns, hunters have slows and ways to jump away. They have traps, shamans have their frost shock and stuff, and they have ghost wolf to get away. Warriors have knockdown on a 45-second cooldown, hamstring, which is a 50% slow for like 8 seconds, and charge, and that's it. So I think the problem with Warriors was they relied too much on damage out, on getting crits between those periods of control, because when your throwdown is on cooldown, all you can really do is damage a target, and if you're not getting lots of crits, like Warriors, they always have an ability available to be used. You always have either a Mortal Strike, Overpower, Slam, or depending on your spec, or Heroic Strike available. But if none of those are critting, they're doing pitiful damage. But if most of them are critting, then you're outputting an insane amount of damage. So the problem, I think that's the problem with Warriors, was that they didn't have, I guess they weren't very reliable. Like sometimes you do well, sometimes you wouldn't, because they're inconsistent. They relied too much on procs and waiting and getting lucky with crits. So let's see how that has changed in Miss Pandaria. So first tier, we got Juggernaut, which is the same as Juggernaut now. Charge every 12 seconds. Here we have double time. You can use charge twice before triggering the cooldown, which this can be potentially good or bad. You can charge a mage. If he blinks, you can charge him again. But if you charge someone and then you wait 20 seconds to charge again, then you're going to have to wait 20 seconds again after that. So it has the potential to be very good and very bad. Warbringer just looks completely useless to me. You're sacrificing the ability to use it twice, or you're sacrificing 8 seconds off the cooldown just to knock down the target for 3 seconds, when charge already by default has a 1.5 second stun. I think they need to do something different with this, like automatically apply a hamstring, or after using charge with Warbringer, you ignore all their armor for like 5 seconds, or you get a huge expertise bonus, so maybe after you charge and knock them down, then after that, for the next 5 seconds, they have a severely reduced chance to dodge and parry your attacks. I don't know, something like that to make it a little more on par with stuff that makes charge have much higher uptime. The healing one, I was very skeptical of this at first, because in duels I'd seen Second Wind healing a ton, and because Second Wind generates, it's the only talent out of these three that generates rage. This one uses 10 rage, this one uses 60 rage unless you're enraged. So this one, Second Wind, seemed like a very clear winner. Like it had a gross advantage over the others. But I think in arenas, stuff where you're going to be going down quickly, you'd be much better off having an enraged regen or impending victory, where you can consistently get your health back up before it gets that low. Because if people save their burst for when you get low, if you're a warrior, or you know, a lot of classes have an execute now, like there's kill shot, there's dispatch, there's execute, you know, there's a lot of ways to, there's hammer of wrath, you know, there's a ton of ways to get to kill a class once they're already low health. So these enraged regen and impending victory could be very useful in arenas, which then made me skeptical, because I was like, well, then who's going to want second wind? That's going to be completely useless. But I guess the rage generation from this particular ability kind of balances out with the other two. Protection warriors are probably going to always want second wind, always, because first of all, 3% health per second if you're a prot warrior, which means you're going to have a ton more health. That's going to be a lot of healing. Secondly, you don't generate rage in defensive stance except from rage generating abilities, and 1 rage per 3 seconds, so getting that extra rage when you get stunned or slowed, which if you're a flag carrier or something is probably going to happen a lot, is going to be very useful. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with the rage thing, battle stance, they changed it so you can use all your abilities in any stance, but battle stance, you only generate rage from dealing damage. In Berserker stance, you generate a little bit of rage from dealing damage, and you generate some rage from taking damage. And then defensive stance, like I said, you don't generate rage except from abilities that generate rage, and 1 rage per 3 seconds. So this is going to be very useful for protection warriors, especially. Other warriors, it could be handy, but you may, in arenas, you'll probably want one of the other ones. Disrupting shout, piercing howl, staggering shout, just you know, kind of, these help control the engagement depending on what you're against. Disrupting shout against casters, obviously. In arenas, pretty much everyone will want this because you can pummel a heal from 10 yards away, so that'll be helpful. Blade Storm Shockwave, available to any spec, that is nice. And then Dragon's Roar, which recently got nerfed because it was doing a boatload of damage. Dragon's Roar was previously doing about 30% of someone's health. Like, you use this once, it always crits. It took about 30% of your enemy's health, which is huge. So Blade Storm, this is kind of your, I guess this tier is what you'd use to change the tides of battle, I guess. Blade Storm is a good way to make a comeback. You get out of your slows, you do a bunch of damage to everyone in 8 yards. Shockwave, you can stun someone at a critical moment, stun a rogue before they get away, stun someone before they get a heal off, all that kind of stuff. And Dragon's Roar, you can do a fair bit of damage and knock everybody back and knock them down, so that's helpful. Mass Spell Reflection, everyone's going to take this. Vigilance, I think, is useless. 30% of damage taken by the target party member will be taken by you instead. But why would you want to take 30% of their damage when you can use this every 30 seconds, and you can cause them to take 20% reduced damage for 6 seconds without any of it being transferred to you? So I think Vigilance is pretty much useless for PvP. Mass Spell Reflection reflects the next spell cast on you and all party members, so it's basically everyone in your party gets 1 spell reflect and you don't need a shield. Most people will use this, and this is kind of your burst or ability, I guess, this one. 20% more damage, 30% more rage for 20 seconds. This one, 30% more damage, 50% snare for 12 seconds every 1 minute. And then Stormbolt, which is what I'm going to take. It's a heroic throw every 30 seconds, which also stuns for 3 seconds, which will be very useful. And paired with Blade Storm, because I don't plan to take Shockwave or Dragon's Roar, I plan to take Blade Storm, so that Stormbolt will make up for the loss in one of those controlling abilities. So yeah, Warriors have lots of ways to now control the situation, get an edge. They have more stuns, more, I guess, utility. They have a lot more ways to prevent their enemy from killing them, basically. They just have a lot more tools in their tool belt, so a lot more weapons in their arsenal. You get it. Warriors have a lot more control by the looks of it. I think in Miss Pandaria, Warriors are once again going to be a very valuable spec or class for arenas, which is good to hear. We want every class to be viable, do we not? I do. That'd be fun if all the classes were fairly well balanced. So so far it's not looking too bad. Speaking of which, on my mage video, I made mages sound absolutely awful, like they're absolutely gonna, in the sense that they're absolutely gonna destroy everything in their path. They got even more CC than before, etc., etc. I'm gonna be making a follow-up video that'll be up either today or tomorrow. There's some misunderstanding on my part and lack of actual gameplay experience, but I have to. So I'm gonna make a follow-up video to correct some of the assumptions, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. Once again, if you're looking for more in-depth information, like just more information in general, or even more in-depth on warriors specifically, there's a link to a channel in the description where you will find that information you so crave. And join me next time if you wish, and I'll probably cover the druid or hunter. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.